you can trace that out, and into adolescence, they have a lower incidence, just based on that one metric alone, a lower incidence of anxiety and depression.
All right, this is episode 6 of Reps and Real Talk, where we not only talk about fitness, but we talk about real life as well. Today we have one of the best pediatricians in the game, Sara Dumond, and we are so excited to talk to you. And I'll let Gretchen do the intro because she knows you so well.
Yeah, I've known Sara for over 15 years.
Okay.
We just determined,
Yeah,
and we just travel in
in the same circle.
the same circles.
Yeah.
Which is really nice. So I'm super excited to have you on the podcast today. Sara has been a pediatrician for over 25 years. She is founder and owner of Pediatric Housecalls. And I'm going to let her talk about it, but it's a really cool, different way for you as a parent to have a doctor see your kids. And it's such a great concept.
Thank you.
And I know you started here, but you're in Virginia and South Carolina. Is that it?
That's it for now, but TBD.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Continuing to grow and scale. So
that's so awesome.
yeah.
I think it's such a
Thank you.
great venture, and you're probably the best person to do this. 'Cause
Either the stupidest or the bravest. I'm not sure, but either way, yeah. It's a little
So
bit
yeah, why
daunting.
don't you just kind of give an overview
Okay.
of how your business operates and how me as a parent can utilize Pediatric Housecalls.
Okay, so I've been a practicing board certified pediatrician for 25 years. I went the traditional route, like most pediatricians. I was in an office-based setting. I was like the regular primary care pediatrician. You would bring your baby in for their well visits to see me in the office, and I did that in the Lake Norman area in Mooresville for about 8 years after I finished my training. And I just kept having this little itch to do something a little bit different. Like, I think I do have sort of a little entrepreneurial piece of my brain that's always been there and kind of needed to be let out. So there was that piece of it. I also am a mom of 3 kids. They're 18, 20, and 22. But at the time that I started Pediatric Housecalls, they were pretty little. They were like elementary school age. I can't remember exactly how old, but being a working mom, I was also not only wanting to do something entrepreneurial, but wanting to create a way to practice medicine that gave me a little bit more freedom and flexibility with my days and my schedule, and sort of allowed me to work my work life around my personal life. So I kept brainstorming and dreaming up ways that I could open my own practice, and researched different models, and eventually landed on the Housecalls model. So Pediatric Housecalls, I founded it by myself in 2011, and it's exactly like the name suggests, basically a medical practice where instead of going into an office, you have me, the pediatrician, come to your house. And modern medicine is pretty amazing. It's a very old-fashioned concept. It's the way medicine used to be provided decades ago, and it fell out of favor when we started introducing all of these fancy things like MRI machines and laboratories. And it's funny because now technology's come so far that all of those same things have been reduced to digital versions and things that can be packaged up and
paper
into
trail
form. Exactly. And so it's the progression of technology that's allowed us to bring the house call back, and it allows us to replicate pretty much anything you can do in an office setting in a physical brick and mortar building, we can do on the road in your home. So we function really now like more of like a pediatric urgent care. So when you might normally be dealing with a child who wakes up from their nap and they're crying about ear pain, and you're like, oh gosh, it's 3:00 in the afternoon, like
I'm never gonna get in
the office, and the last thing I want to do is drag them into the minute clinic
or have to go to the ER.
God forbid the ER. That's where we come in. And so we're not sort of a membership based practice. We're really open. You can use us once or use us as many times as you want.
Well, you take most. I was going to say you're a network and take most insurance.
So, So yeah, it's pretty low hanging fruit. People, once they use us, they're sort of like, what's the catch?
Yeah. Who wants to go
Yeah.
sit in a
Yeah.
lobby and
Yeah.
have to wait
Well,
for 30 minutes?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think there's a little piece of me too that also has some ADD, and I don't think I would have lasted my whole career walking into the same office every day, opening the same door, working in the same setting.
Right.
For me, just the change of pace, and it's different every day, and I'm, you know, going to people's houses and interacting with their pets and
Well, I
you
was
know,
gonna
seeing
say,
their
yeah,
homesteading.
you
I
get
mean,
to
it's
see
like I get to see
a whole
yes,
different side of people.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's
Which
just,
probably
it's pretty
in the
cool.
long run kind of helps you with your
It actually
diagnosing
very much does.
and because you see what their environment is. So
Exactly.
it's like,
Yes, it's a window that I wouldn't have otherwise
Right.
gotten to see.
yeah, that totally makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so speaking of that, like, what is the biggest or most common, I guess, health concerns that you see today with the kids that you,
Yeah. So the good news
it?
is that that the biggest concerns that we see are still all of the garden variety things that have always been there.
Right.
Right. So like we hear how pediatric health, child health in our country is getting worse and worse and worse. But I will say the majority of what we see is still very garden variety, very basic pediatric things. That said, there's definitely been a trend over the course of the last 25 years of, very much seen a trend where we're seeing far more, lifestyle related chronic diseases in children. And along with that, mental health issues. And I kind of hate that term mental health because I think it's a misnomer. I mean, our mental health is not something separate from our physical health.
Right.
So, but you know what I mean when I say
Yeah.
that. So, those two buckets, we've definitely seen a trend towards an increase in those kinds of diagnoses. So,
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the mental piece of it kind of connects to the rest of
It
your
absolutely
body.
does. Yes.
So if your child is not mentally happy or, struggling with something, it usually stems to, I've got this chronic pain or my stomach
Yep.
hurts. I can't go to the
all
bathroom.
related.
It is all related. I mean, I've dealt with it on a personal level and my brother, I mean, I've seen just all sorts of different
It touches
ways.
everyone. Like it's
Yeah.
very,
It does.
it's very unusual to meet anyone who hasn't had, mental health issues that have touched their family or maybe themselves directly.
Yeah.
So,
Or they don't even realize it. I feel like some people have mental health, don't even realize.
yes.
No, yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We
Yeah.
can talk about that more in a little bit if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely something that I noticed. It's interesting because I often say that even though I'm a pediatrician, technically the child is my patient. Really, the parents are also my patient.
Yeah.
oh,
You
for
know,
sure.
and it's amazing how much there is a connection between the physical and mental health of the parents and the physical and mental health of the children.
And how it stems
Oh,
down.
Yeah.
it's all connected.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is all connected.
So my kids are young. So I have a 4 and a 7-year-old, right? And I get to see them in all different aspects from like going to games and things like that. So my question for you would be between screen time, lack of sleep, and sugar, what would you say is doing the most damage right now to, I would say, kids as a whole?
Yeah. If I have to pick between those three, Gretchen knows me well. I tend to be pretty laid back, pretty easygoing. I am definitely
Yeah.
not one that gets out there and like proselytizes about you need to be doing this, 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 and this. I'm pretty easygoing and I'm pretty much of a realist also when it comes to parenting and things like that. When it comes to screen time, smartphones, digital media,
Yeah.
I am not laid back
Okay.
at all. And it's really because it is, the way I see it, probably one of the biggest threats to our kids' health that exists right now. And I feel like we've over-indexed as parents in making sure that our kids have physical safety, right? Like, for good reason. Like, we make sure that they wear their helmets when they're on their scooters or their bikes.
Right.
We buckle them into their car seats. We're using seat belts. We're not letting them go further than a block without being like an eye shot of us. We teach them about stranger danger, but we completely ignored this whole other realm that they actually spend more time in it.
Yeah.
And the dangers,
No, I agree.
The dangers are more, not only like the dangers of what they can be exposed to, but also just the sheer volume of time that they spend with a screen in their face.
Well, think about us as adults.
Yes.
Like, we go down this rabbit hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
And here's kids, like, they just go from video to video.
Yes.
I mean, even I see kids at the grocery store.
Yeah.
They're sitting while they're shopping. I'm like, what?
They're constantly entertained by
Like,
the screen.
put that away and
Yes.
Yeah.
have them help you shop.
Yes.
Or, like,
Yes.
I've seen videos where kids are like asleep and they're like scrolling.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's crazy. I mean, you have like 18-month-olds that know how to navigate a smartphone.
they
better
do.
than an
They
adult.
know how to open it up
Yeah.
Wow.
and make a phone call.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah. So I would definitely say of those things that you listed, screens by far, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Well, because speaking of screen time, when you're taking away physical activity
Right.
when they're sitting around on the screen.
Yeah. So
So how
Yes.
does that, like, so you're, as a pediatrician, you're getting into probably some overweight issues
Yes.
or out of shape issues.
yes. Well,
I
and it's
think
not just-
screen time, they're mindlessly eating
Yeah.
and maybe not the healthiest choices of food.
Yes. I generally recommend that parents approach screen time with their children in a way that it is an earned privilege and not just an assumption of
You get it.
screen time that
Yeah.
you get it. Yeah. You have to you have to have met what we consider to be the recommended guidelines for daily physical activity. You got to earn your screen time that way. And even
I like
then,
that.
if you earn your screen time, I mean, the recommendation is less than 2 hours a day. It's terrifying if you were to look at the metrics on an iPad
Wow.
Yeah.
or an iPhone to see how many hours. It's way over 2 hours.
What's the recommended physical activity
Okay,
time?
so no one believes me when I say this, but from age 5 to age 18 and older, like from age 5 the rest of your adult life, 60 minutes a day.
Oh man, that's good.
60 minutes a day of moderate to vigorous physical activity. So moderate to vigorous physical activity means you're getting your heart rate up,
Mm-hmm.
you're
Yeah.
out of breath so that you can't hold a normal conversation. 60 minutes a day.
Wow.
Like that's
That's a
a
lot.
lot.
That's
Yeah.
more than a lot
is
of
a lot.
adults.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That should be from school age on up. So,
Wow.
if we could just get people to buy into this, I think we would see a lot of these chronic diseases, obesity, mental health issues, a lot of those things go away,
Yeah. I do see a slow shift just because of news and everything. And, studies have come out that parents are really starting to hold off on even giving their kids a phone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
and landlines are, I
Landlines
saw
are
a big
coming back.
landlines are coming back.
Phones are
So
coming
they can
back.
talk,
Yes.
but they don't have access
Yes.
to social media.
Yes. I'm a huge
Wow.
fan of that idea. Like, huge.
The
fan.
landline thing, they had a big article. It was so
Yes.
cool. And in New York City,
Yes.
these were kids in New York City. They're like 9,
Yes.
and they have landlines,
What
and
they're
so they
finding
can
is
talk.
You have to do it as a community, though.
Yes,
you
you
have
do.
to get together as parents, whether it's via school community or your neighborhood or just your close friend circle, your friend group. You have to agree that everybody's going to do it.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
it can't just be like one family decides they're going to do a landline that accomplishes
Right.
nothing. They have
Yeah.
no friends
No.
to talk to, or
Yeah.
one
One
family's
has
going to only do a flip phone. Until high school age, everybody sort of has to be on the same page, and everybody has
Yeah.
to have buy-in.
Well, let me ask you this: when it comes to, I know you were saying 60 minutes
Mm-hmm.
a day of working out, how much? Because our kids are in families like mine. My kids are in a lot of different
Uh-huh.
things, activities. But what do you feel about structured play versus unstructured play?
I have very strong feelings about this too.
What's your thought
Let's
process?
lay
doing-
back.
Yeah. I mean, I am in general, but like
You
there
are.
some
No,
things
you're
I
very-
think
yes.
are worth getting fired up
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
And,
I agree.
and we have basically turned childhood into a career.
Yeah.
We have turned what should be free, unstructured creativity. Go figure out what to do when you're bored.
Yeah.
We've turned that into structured, organized sports starting at the age of 3.
Yeah.
Or organized, if it's not sports, some other kind of
It's some other, yeah.
class or activity. And kids aren't wired that way. Kids are burning out by middle school, then they're wanting to quit their sport.
Yeah.
Now you've completely undone what you just tried to do for the last, 8 to 10 years leading into that. And so, yeah, I mean, I think there is a time and a place to introduce organized classes or organized sports, but I think we let the kids have some input on that.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of monitor. Every child is a little bit different. Some can handle a little more of that than others. But when you start to see, they're dragging, they don't want to be there, they don't want to, go to the class or the practice or whatever it is. That should matter. Like that should be a red flag too. Like, okay, maybe we're a little too
Doing
overscheduled.
that.
Not to mention, you mentioned like lack of sleep. I mean, all these things are connected too. I see kids like in early elementary school that are doing like soccer and baseball practices, and they're getting home at like 9:30 at night.
Right.
Yeah.
And eating dinner.
Yes.
And then going to bed.
Yes.
That is
Exactly.
wild.
So
Well,
there's a way to
and
get
also I
sleep.
feel like my slogan has always been my whole life, and any kid that knows me,
Yeah.
only boring people are bored.
Yes.
And because kids, they don't know
Say that again.
only boring people are bored.
Love that.
Because they don't know how to entertain themselves.
Yeah.
So if you're bored, go figure it
You gotta
out.
put that on a shirt.
Yeah.
FD. Only
I
boring
mean,
people are
I
bored.
said
I
that.
I love that.
And the best thing that I think we ever did is go camping. Because you're out in the woods. They had to figure out how to play. There was no signal, no nothing. They played Monopoly for
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah,
They
you're
played volleyball. I think if you get them away from any kind of like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
and just let them be
Yes.
and
And don't
figure
get
it
so caught
out.
up in the race to nowhere. Like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
people now feel like if their kid's not on the all-star team by the time they're 7, that they're washed up and
Yeah.
they're never gonna
no.
like
And
get
they
the
didn't
college
even do
scholarship,
anything in-
you know.
And the parents didn't accomplish anything in sports. That just baffles me.
Yeah.
Like
And
they want their kids to be Michael Jordan.
in the short stint that I worked at the soccer club, it's like if your kid is good enough in any sport,
They'll
they
find
will
it.
find you.
They will find
Right
it
at
every
the
will-
time.
top. Yes.
Yeah.
I
Every
mean,
time.
Yes.
I'm a Bills fan. Josh Allen is a perfect example of
Yeah.
that. He went to University of Wyoming.
Yep.
Yeah.
He wasn't drafted.
Yeah.
I mean,
They'll find you.
they'll find you.
Yeah.
And so I saw this clip of these kids in Asia, and they just gave them blocks,
Mhm.
and it was probably like 30 kids. They gave them blocks, and after like an hour, they
Brings
had
back
like
the
a
Lincoln
whole railroad system
Yeah.
that they had made.
Yeah.
It was pretty
Like a whole
fantastic.
civilization.
Yeah, it was like a whole civilization,
Yeah.
like a whole town that
Yeah.
these kids had made,
Yeah.
and I was like, wow.
Just from blocks.
So I think I agree with you. Unstructured play, you gotta let your kids play, do something, run around. As you can hear my kids
As you
in the
can hear.
back. In the back.
That's awesome.
And and I tell my wife sometimes, like, sometimes you gotta have organized chaos. Let them try different things out. I say to my daughter, jump off, see if it works.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that works. You can't just save them from every little thing that happens.
If they never make a mistake, they're never going to learn anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
even
they're
as
gonna be afraid to
adults,
try.
yeah, then they're going to be, because they're going to be afraid to fail.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to fail to figure out what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And I heard you talking about parents. So for you, how much does a parent's lifestyle impact, like, the healthiness of the
Fired
kid?
up. Like this is here I am trying to make the case that I'm this laid back and I'm getting all fired up. But yeah, I mean, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. Like they absolutely watch what we're doing.
Yeah.
Far more than what they
We said-
will let on.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
100%.
You think, you're trying to give them a lecture, you're trying to tell them what they need to do, and you might give the roll of the eyes or they might not seem like they're listening, but they are 100%
Oh, yeah.
watching what we're doing. So the idea, like to your point about the sports, like, if you're trying to, insist that your kid becomes this superstar athlete and you're putting them in hours and hours of training and you're not
Yeah, you're on the couch.
out there busting your butt,
Yeah.
working out and showing them what physical fitness looks like. That I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Or
Like,
if you're sitting on the couch,
Yeah.
scrolling on
Yeah.
TikTok,
that's exactly right. I
and,
mean,
and your kids are running around you, and
yes,
Yeah.
the same thing is true for mental health issues. I mean, I cannot tell you how much children absorb the energy from their parents, and parenting is hard. Parenting today is even harder than it
Than was for us.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or when our parents were raising
Yeah.
us. So I'm not discounting that there are things to be anxious about in this world as you're raising parents. It's hard. What I see, unfortunately, a lot is anxiety starts to run the household. Anxiety starts to dictate how parents parent, and then the kids pick right up on that.
Yeah.
Really, parents need to be that even-keeled, emotionally even, stable, not getting sucked
And
into
boundaries.
the
And I
emotional.
think,
Yes.
I think the boundaries have gotten so
wide.
wide.
Or non-existent in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kids, they want it. I mean, even in high school, I could see it. The
Yes.
kids that
Yeah.
would come into the
They won't
office,
tell you they want it.
they're like,
but they want it.
they
Yeah.
want
Y'all
you
set boundaries.
to be the bad person.
Yes.
Like, the
Yes.
kid doesn't, it's okay. My mom won't let me do it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
And they're totally okay saying
Yes.
that.
You just set boundaries by setting boundaries, but you have
Yeah.
to be consistent. And I always tell
Yeah.
parents that it's the job description of kids and adolescents to push those boundaries.
Yeah.
What you can't do is let that make you second guess your decisions. And I see that happen a lot
Yeah.
too. It's sort of like the minute the kid starts to push back or you get a little bit of flack from them, you start second guessing like, well, maybe I'm being too
Hard on, yeah.
Man, I
hard
love
on
this.
them. Maybe I am being unreasonable.
Yeah.
And also it's just hard.
Yeah.
It's
It is
to
hard,
enforce
yeah.
boundaries.
It's
It gets
so
tiring
hard.
and it's exhausting. Like
Yeah.
you want harmony and peace in your house.
Yeah.
Boundaries don't necessarily lend itself to that right away.
Yeah.
But there's no secret, sauce to doing
No,
it.
and it's seasons of change
Yes.
too. As they grow, you have
Yeah.
different boundaries and
Yeah.
One thing that I think works really well, we use this with our kids because I do think kids are different. Your two girls are probably very different from one another, and so one boundary might need to be a little bit tighter for one of them and a little different for the other. And we always focus not so much on chronological age. So our kids would be fixated on like, well, how old do I have to be before I can get Instagram? How old do I have to be before
Right.
I can do X, Y, Z? And my answer was always like, I don't have an age. I know that you don't like that answer, but like, I don't have an age. What I'm looking for are signs of emotional maturity in you.
Right.
When I see those signs, I'll know it. And then they would be like, well, what are those signs?
Yeah.
Well, I can give you examples,
Yeah.
that you're taking personal responsibility for your things,
Yeah.
that I'm not having to walk into your room and see that it looks like a tornado blew up, that you aren't calling me 5 times a week to bring you things that you forgot to take with you to school. There's
Yeah.
just certain
Yeah.
personal responsibility things that once I see them, then you're ready for that next level
Yeah.
of freedom.
So parents can't be slobs
Parents can be slobs, but
if they want
can't.
healthy kids.
If they expect their children not to be, they really need to model what they're expecting of their children.
Yeah, because I use that here at the gym. I use a lot of people's kids as a way of motivation.
Uh-huh.
Because everyone will say, especially here, they're like, I'll die for my kid. I'll be
Right.
like, well, would you live for them? Will you eat healthy for them?
Yeah.
I mean, if your son was watching you doing push-ups right now, would you just stop and give up?
Right.
And I use that, or if you're taking a daughter to the prom, I'm like, there's going to be an 18-year-old kid that's going to take your daughter to the prom, and you're going to be walking here with a cane, and you think that's going to strike any fear in this little 18-year-old heart? Because I said, when my daughter goes to the prom, I'm going to stand on a steel chair that's cold. I'm going to leave it.
Jamal's gonna be the one sitting on the front porch
I'm gonna have-
as they
Yeah.
walk up with their corsage.
Yeah, I'm going to have overalls on,
Right.
and I'm going to stand there, and I'm going to have all my guys with me in the back, and I'm going to be like, she's home by 11. And I'm going to have
And she will be.
Yeah, and she will be. And I think, like you said, that's another way of setting a boundary.
Yeah.
And I think it's another way of motivation for not only the kids, but for the adults. Because when I was a kid, when my dad would come into the room, I'd be like, that's my dad right there. He's strong. He can do this. Yeah, you were proud. And I see my kids do the same thing when we go up to school. So I think it gives kids another way of motivation to be healthy. Because when they see their parents doing good, I think it makes them want to be healthy. They don't even realize what
100%.
they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, you have to set the example.
100%.
Absolutely.
So we talked about anxiety, how we kind of covered all that. Let's move into, let's talk a little bit about vitamins, supplements, vaccines, just kind of a factual background, like,
Yes.
we don't need to get political about it,
Yeah.
but there's importance in in all of them. And
Yes, so this falls into the category of preventative medicine,
Yes.
right? Like we want to try to prevent illness and disease before it ever happens, as opposed to just having to react once it happens. And so vaccines, vitamins, supplements, nutrition, that all falls into that category in my mind. So, um, you know, as far as vaccines go, that could be a whole podcast episode in
Yeah.
itself. Like you mentioned, it's gotten definitely very politicized in the last, however many years. All I'll say to that is that, the way I look at it, you can call it bias or you can just call it experience. But when you've seen kind of everything in the world of pediatrics over
Right.
25 years, I do remember a time when I literally almost peed my pants because it was terrifying. I had was taking care of a toddler in the emergency department who literally had no airway, could not breathe, and it was because he had something called Haemophilus influenza type B or Hib tracheitis, and when that happens, you can't give them oxygen through their nose. You can't put a bag on their face and there is no way the air is getting in and out. And so I had to watch an ENT do an emergency cricothyroidotomy where they basically puncture a hole in their
I was going to say
windpipe.
where you take the pen, like,
Yes,
give me the pen.
yes. And I think, that forever changes you. Like,
Yeah.
when I took care of a previously completely healthy 8-year-old boy who got influenza and ended up on the oscillator ventilator in the ICU when I worked in the hospital, that kind of changes how I view influenza.
Yeah.
And again, you can either say it's bias or you can say it's just experience. And I really do think it's just experience talking. I have a healthy level of respect for all of the diseases that we vaccinate for. And I think, unfortunately, we've kind of become like a victim of their success because we don't really see all of those bad outcomes.
Well,
as much
because
as
all
we
that
say.
stuff has been gone for so
Yes,
long.
exactly.
So, like, even our generation, what was the
Yes.
the shot that,
Yes.
like
the
my,
smallpox vaccine.
this,
Yes.
so mine was in the arm, my
Yes.
grandma's was in her leg,
Yeah,
my
the
mom
little
had it on the thigh, like, it kept moving around,
Yeah.
and then I don't even think my brother got it,
Yeah.
because I think it was
I
eradicated.
did, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyhow, so I definitely, am very, very comfortable saying I'm pro-vaccine. I view it as one of the pillars of preventative medicine. And then talking about supplements and vitamins, I do think that they have a role potentially. I have kind of dove deeper and deeper into this realm, over the last several years. And I would say, a couple things. I think every American should probably be on a daily probiotic. I don't know that our food source in America, even when you're talking about organically grown
When you're trying to get whole
vegetables,
foods,
it's just devoid of a lot of the nutrients compared to.
And that's just
for
helping your gut.
It's helping our gut. And we know now that there's so many things linked to our gut health. It's not just our gut health itself, our immune system, it's linked to brain function. So I think that's probably, if I had a blanket recommendation, I pretty much across the board recommend everybody is on a daily probiotic. There's no downside to it. Now, you can get really fancy probiotics that have like 25 strains of bacteria. I don't have any. I'm very evidence-based, so the only evidence I've ever seen talks about 2 strains specifically, Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium. And so I always say just find what's cheap that has those 2 strains. You don't need 50 strains.
Yeah.
You're good.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be refrigerated versus not
Right.
refrigerated.
No.
Yeah.
And then supplements, because I don't consider that to be a supplement. I really just think it needs to be tailored to the individual situation, the individual child or adult. The biggest issue with supplements is it's an unregulated, industry. So you don't always know that what's on the label and on the bottle is actually what you're taking.
Well,
So
also I feel like some parents or people take it
to try
in
to
lieu of,
undo
like,
the
I don't eat,
relationship?
I don't eat vegetables
Yes.
or my fruit,
Right.
so I'm going to take this instead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And obviously,
And
that's not an
no, that's not why you're
makes any
taking a
sense
supplement.
whatsoever. But there are certainly situations, where you can have a fairly balanced diet, pretty good nutrition as much as you can get in this country, and still potentially have some vitamin deficiencies.
Right.
And so there may be a role for some supplements in those situations. There's a governing body called the NSF, which does a pretty good job. They do third-party testing.
Yeah.
If you're gonna buy a supplement, I usually recommend that somebody looks for that NSF label
Okay.
to know that more than likely what they think they're getting, they're actually getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got ours through the NSF.
What?
We got ours.
Oh, we did?
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, we have our whole
I'm
lineup.
pretty
Yeah.
proud of that.
Yeah, you should
Yeah.
be. That's great.
It is good.
Yeah.
What?
Hold on. Before
Oh,
we-
sorry. Okay.
Okay.
You go.
When it comes, I was listening to about gut health in
Yeah.
kids, and you were talking about how important it is. I was reading something and it was saying that your gut health actually starts in the mouth,
Yeah.
and it was saying that taking proper care of your teeth
Yes.
and is one of the first parts of helping improving your gut health.
Yes.
And I know with a lot of kids, there's a huge, I wouldn't say epidemic of sugar intake, but sugar is on all the shelves and it's like right here close. And I
Right at
literally
eye
have to,
level.
yeah, I literally have to hold my kids up here
Yep.
just as I'm walking down aisle 5
Yeah.
and there's Teeter. So what's a way for parents to help to lower the sugar intake for kids? Because I know that when my kids get sugar, it like goes in their bloodstream in like 30 seconds.
They're different kids.
They're completely different kids. They don't sleep well.
Yeah.
They don't listen.
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy. I've actually tested it with my kids like a science project.
Yeah.
And so what are ways that you think parents can help to kind of give them
Good
that,
alternatives.
yeah,
or
alternative to
good-
some of those sugar intakes that they normally eat?
So when I talk to kids directly about nutrition, I don't talk in terms of sugar or low sugar or good foods or bad foods. I talk in terms of anytime foods and sometimes foods.
Okay.
Number one, I don't think we should ever categorize anything as bad across the board.
Right.
I think you're setting people up for dysfunctional and disordered eating when you do that.
100%.
And it's also, I mentioned I'm a realist. Like, my kids are going to go to a birthday party and they're going
Yeah.
to have a slice of birthday cake. And I don't want them panicking because they're calculating in their head, Mom said I shouldn't eat sugar and now I just ate a piece of cake. So anytime foods, I tell kids and give them examples. Like, anytime foods, you don't have to ask Mom. Go get a piece of fruit. Go get, some cut up veggies from the refrigerator, some hummus, some whole grains. Those are foods that you don't have to ask permission. You can have this anytime. They're good for your body. They're good for your gut health. They're good for your bones. Those are anytime. And then you've got this other category of foods over here that are sometimes foods. They're foods that you eat on special occasions or foods.
Soda.
I mean, every now and then, they're gonna have a soda,
Yeah.
and it doesn't mean that those are completely off the table and not allowed at any time. But focus on thinking of food as fuel for your body as opposed to just thinking of it as nutrition. So, like, you want to put in your body the kind of food that's going to make you run faster on the playground. That's going to make you jump higher. That's going to make you, beat your sister when you race in the backyard.
Yeah.
That's going to make you feel stronger. I talk to them about food in terms of fueling their body, and they will naturally start to make that connection. And you can even point out to them, like, remember when, we went to that birthday party and you had like all that candy and then you crashed hard in the car on the way home. Remember that? That's because your body wasn't getting the right kind of fuel and it absolutely ran out of gas,
Yeah.
And they can understand that. They can start making those connections.
No, that's super easy
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
any of them to understand.
Yes.
And I do feel like if you totally take all of that away, I mean, like, I have candy that sits out on my counter and it stays there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to have to grow up.
Yeah.
I didn't want my kids growing up like that. It's always going to be there.
Right.
And you need to learn that you
Sometimes.
Control.
sometimes and you don't need to abuse it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I think, again, if you start to categorize certain foods as good or bad, you're really setting them up for the potential of developing disordered eating or a disordered relationship with food. And we all know that
Totally.
leads to lifelong.
Oh yeah.
Issue.
No, I
see
know
that with so many
I know
parents.
people that
Yeah.
struggle with that
Yeah.
as an overeater
Yes.
and also as binge
Yes.
eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've seen it
Both
both
sides,
sides, and
especially.
it's
Yeah.
hard. It's like AA. I mean, it is
Yeah.
a disease. I mean, it's
Yeah.
hard, and it's hard. Your brain has been wired,
Yep.
so trying to reconfigure that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think you got to talk about it in the right way from a very young age. So.
Yeah. Well, so what it sounds to me like as adults, we have to really be mindful of not only what we do, what we say, especially to our kids, because I know my dad used to always tell me, yeah, this is gonna make you run slow. And he's like, you're not. We used to watch Popeye. I don't know, y'all might be too young for that, but we used to watch.
Hello, I had a cable,
I'm a lot older
two
than you two
antennas
ladies.
and turn the button.
I was like, I definitely remember Popeye.
Yeah, I was like,
Like, he's
Popeye was
like-
Saturday. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember before Popeye.
He's like, you know how Popeye was so strong? He's like, if you don't eat your vegetables, you're gonna be like weak, and you're not gonna be able to run fast. And in the playground when we used to run, I used to pride myself on being like one of the fastest kids, and I see it in my kids now. So I kind of do the same thing.
But don't you feel like if you introduce your children to those kinds of food, fruits, vegetables, healthy
Yep.
grains, and I know that it takes a little more time to cut that up or have it available.
More effort.
There's more effort. Again, parenting is not easy. It's hard. I just feel like you're setting them up as adults to make those right choices.
Yeah.
So, they're not going to go grab a box of macaroni and cheese.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't shove pre-packaged goldfish crackers in a kid's face for the first 18 years of their life and
Yeah.
then magically expect them to turn into adults who figure out how to eat healthy for
Especially
themselves.
when they're in college. Imagine, that freshman 15 everyone
Yes.
gets. So imagine in college when they go there and they actually could make their own
I'm
decisions.
a freshman in college right now, and I was dying laughing. Yes, we were talking to her last night, and she goes, "Yeah, man, you just kind of take for granted when you live at home that like I can walk in the kitchen, open up the refrigerator, there's like all kinds of really like good, healthy food."
Yeah.
Like, she's like, "I had to like, make an effort to do." I was like, "Yes,
It's so funny,
it's
right?
an effort for
That's
me to
like,
do it for you."
and now my kids see like my friends eat so bad.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's so funny to me because all my kids are out of the house. They're on their own. They have to make their own meals, but
Yep.
they cook.
Yeah.
They make.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
they know what quinoa is.
And
They
that's a
they
great point too, like involving them in cooking.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Oh, the summer we went cross country.
yeah.
In the camper,
Yeah.
that was with the boys, and it was just me and the boys most of the time. And every day I'd ask Ben, "What do you want to cook on the grill tonight? Because
Yeah.
you're going to learn how to grill this
Yeah.
summer." And I'd pull it out of the
Awesome.
freezer, and it would thaw in the sink. We'd get to where, and he cooked dinner. He did that, and Jacob helped me with everything else.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But they learned how to cook.
Yes.
That's awesome. I remember you saying that when Ben was cooking for you guys for breakfast.
Yeah.
We just got this pizza oven, and I have them kind of make their own pizza.
Yeah.
And just some of it is disgusting. But I
As
will
long
say-
as they don't put pineapple
Yeah.
on their pizza.
Oh, they
that-
did.
Blah.
They did. They were
That's
putting all
Ben's
kinds of
favorite.
gummy worms.
I think that should be outlawed.
Yeah, but I definitely see it is funny. And it helps me out too as a parent because I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
When they're
Well,
when they're doing it.
because you know what they're not doing? They're not sitting on their phones.
Yeah.
They're having to be creative because making food is being creative, figuring out what tastes good together and what
Yeah.
doesn't. And it helps, that works your left side of your brain. I mean, there's so many
Yeah.
positive things about
Yeah.
cooking and just figuring out how to cut a watermelon or
Yeah.
how to dig seeds out of a butternut squash.
Yeah.
And then we cook it in the oven. And, I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy what even just cooking,
Yeah.
all the benefits,
Yeah.
not just from eating it,
Yeah.
the before piece of it.
Preparation piece of it.
So Sarah, I got a question for you.
Okay.
So what do you feel is the biggest? This may be this is probably not tough for you. What do you feel is the biggest myth about child health that you think you wish parents would stop believing?
Okay. I have two.
I know
And
she
you're
gets
right,
fired
it's
up.
Not hard.
She gets fired up.
I do, I guess.
Yeah,
I
she.
do.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so one.
What I love about Sarah is that she's very pragmatic about it. Like,
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
you're
yes.
you're not, and you've done your research. It's kind of,
And I never
it's not
come
your,
at it from a judgmental state.
it's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
your,
Like,
you're not pulling it out of,
I
you
was not a
know.
Yeah.
perfect parent, not a perfect parent by any stretch.
Yeah.
You're right. Yes, there's a reason why
Yeah.
I feel the way I feel, and I have, I say the things I say. But probably the first, I just have to laugh when I say it, is for some reason a lot of parents believe that if it's natural, it's healthy, or it's better, or it's safer. And
What's an example?
okay, so we're heading into
cereal.
like, what's that?
Cereal.
Oh, well, no, I was thinking more in terms of like medication. So like,
Oh, yeah.
we're sort of heading into what we consider to be sick season,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah.
October to March, we see a lot, an increased incidence of like upper respiratory viruses and what have you. And I will inevitably get questions about natural cough suppressants or homeopathic cough suppressants. Now, I don't like cough suppressants in general for kids, but I don't have my recommendation for cough in kids is not very sexy or exciting, but it works. I'm like, they need some saline up their nose. You need to humidify the air. It's a little bit of honey, as long as they're over a year of age. Like, that's pretty much it. But everybody is obsessed with stopping the cough altogether. And so I'll get asked about, essential oils or some homeopathic, cough medicines that are packaged up and sold for $25 on the shelf, but it says all natural on the box. And so it must be better. It must be safer. And the crazy part is that a lot of these supposedly all natural remedies are not safe. Take an asthmatic kid and rub some essential oil on their chest, and suddenly they're in a full-blown asthma attack. Or some of the natural ingredients in homeopathic remedies can trigger increased cough or increased mucus production. So I think that's one misnomer or myth, is that if it says natural or all natural, that it's automatically safe, it's automatically good, and it's automatically okay for kids. And then the second myth we sort of alluded to earlier, which is that mental health and physical health are two separate things.
Yeah.
Because we know they're not. And part of that is I say our, like the medical community, our fault, because we have really, for many years, siloed off those two things from one another. There's a way to treat mental illness, and it involves things like SSRIs and therapy, and then there's a way to treat chronic physical illness, and it involves lifestyle changes, sometimes medication. And we haven't always done a great job of linking the two together. But the reality is that you literally can go back to that original recommendation of 60 minutes a day of moderate to vigorous exercise in children. You can trace that out, and into adolescence, they have a lower incidence, just based on that one metric alone, a lower incidence of anxiety and depression. That's it. Like, that's taking into account.
It's a solid
things like
factual
genetics.
statement.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that is definitely a myth that we unfortunately have not done a great job of. We probably perpetuated it in some ways, the medical community has, but really it's all integrated, it's all connected. They are not two completely separate things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I totally believe that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think even as adults, you know, a lot of gut health issues is because you're stressed out, your cortisol levels are out of control, you know, you're not sleeping well because you're, again, overthinking everything. So I'm laying awake, worrying about stuff.
Yeah.
And that all perpetuates down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you probably are making poor food
I was
choices.
gonna say, and
Because you're tired, you're in a rush, you're,
you
you know,
rationalize
it's
not
like a
getting up to
vicious
work
circle,
out.
right?
Yeah.
You're just kind of perpetuating it.
Yes.
You gotta stop that.
Yeah, if we prescribed lifestyle interventions or activities the way that we prescribed medications, I think we would, you know, have a different outlook. If I could send an e-prescription to your pharmacy that says your kid needs to exercise 60 minutes a day, like I'd do that in a heartbeat. I would love that.
Put exercise on a pill.
I even
Yeah.
tell,
Hop out.
I even tell
But again, it's
some of our clients that are like MIA, I'm like, you need to treat this, your camp
Yeah.
class
Yeah.
as a doctor's appointment. You
Absolutely.
wouldn't
And
miss
you
a
would miss
doctor's
that,
appointment.
right.
So why are you missing
It's,
your exercise?
but it's not an immediate fix.
No,
right?
it's not.
And if
No.
you don't, you can't, you can't measure what you can't see. So it's like when things don't happen, when you don't go on to develop obesity or depression or anxiety because you developed a healthy lifestyle as a child, it's like you don't ever get to see the benefit of that because you just have always had it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like for some people the connection has to be made after the fact. It's like they
Yeah.
have to see like, oh, I did have this chronic issue with this thing and it did get better when I introduced this.
Yeah.
I'd rather not have to go through that with my kids. I just
Yeah.
want them to be healthy the whole way through.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
If you could, one piece of advice, and I think maybe one piece of advice for parents
Mhm.
and one piece of advice for kids.
Okay.
I mean, they probably correlate together.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do. Yeah, I think, I think I would say, don't overcomplicate it as a parent. Don't overthink it. A lot of times just comes down to the way that we support our kids comes down to how we live our own lives and then just consistently expressing our belief in our children. I think we take that for granted as parents sometimes that our kids know how much we love them. Maybe we say that a lot, but what we don't say a lot are things like, I believe in you. Especially as they get into like the high school years, you'll find this out. I mean, they're under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
They're taking AP exams. They're
trying to
trying to
figure
get
out essay to
colleges.
write. Yeah.
My geometry teacher hates me. My coach hates me. All these stresses that they're in.
The girls are mean to me.
Yes.
My boyfriend broke up with me.
Yes.
My life is
Right.
over.
One thing that my husband and I said often and repeatedly to all of our kids during that time was, your best days are ahead. And we just would repeat it. We'd had one of those little signs where you can change out the letters.
Yeah.
And it just said, your best days are ahead. And we kept it right in the kitchen. And we just said it over and I know they got tired of hearing it. We're like, your best days haven't happened yet. Your best days are ahead of you.
Yeah.
Your favorite people you haven't met yet. Your biggest victories you haven't had yet. Your best accomplishments haven't even happened yet.
Yeah.
So
High school is just a blip.
it is.
It's such a small.
It is. So just
It's a stressful
and
time,
imagine
but
as an adult hearing that too,
Yeah.
doesn't that get you excited?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, my best days haven't happened yet. So imagine what that does to a kid.
Yeah.
Like,
power of positivity.
it's so empowering to them, and
Yeah.
they want that from their parents.
They do.
They might get it someplace else, but they really want it from their parents. And then advice for kids is just listen to your parents.
They usually always end up being right.
Yes.
We've been around the block a few
Yes.
times.
Yes.
You know,
And I would also say to kids, and this maybe applies to younger kids, I don't know if your girls are quite at this age, but that old adage that you are the 3 to 4 people that you spend the most time with, that is so true. It is so true. If you are finding yourself in a friend group that is making poor decisions and you know it because you've been raised in a house that
Yeah.
told you that these were not the right decisions, is the number one thing you can do is just change who you surround yourself with. There's so much power and influence of who's in your immediate circle. So that'd be probably my number one piece of advice for kids.
which, that totally resonates.
Mm-hmm.
Probably from age 8
Yeah,
on,
right.
really.
right.
Especially for girls. Because,
Yes.
girls are so mean these days. And,
I mean,
Yeah.
and then social media plays
It's just,
such a big
amplify
role.
it.
Oh, it's
Yep.
so bad.
Yep.
Because Abby didn't have that. When she was in high school, I
Yep.
think Instagram was just starting.
Yeah.
She had a dumb phone for probably till her sophomore year
Yeah.
in high school.
Yeah.
Where my youngest had a smartphone
Yeah.
in 5th grade.
Right.
And I 100% can see the difference
Yeah.
of how social media
Yeah.
played a role in their decision making and or impulsive buying.
Have you guys read The Anxious Generation? Do you know that
No.
book?
No.
Okay, go buy it.
Okay. Anxious.
You're past it.
I am
So
past
it'd
it.
be good to read still. Though,
Yeah,
but
for
it's called
sure.
The Anxious Generation. Now,
Okay.
there are parts of that book that I think maybe a little bit like hyperbole, a little extreme.
Yeah.
And again, I look at it through my like realist lens. So a couple times I was like, I don't know, that may be a little excessive. But in general, the message is very sobering.
Okay.
Like you will read it and go, oh, okay, I'm convinced. I am sold. My kids are not getting a smartphone until they're in high school. There's gonna be no social media until they're at least 16. Like you're gonna do it right because you're gonna have all of the data and the information
Yeah,
that we didn't have. But it's there. I mean, it is, and it's all
Or
laid
like
out in
really
the book.
the parents between
Yes.
us.
Yes.
Because like we didn't really have to deal
Right.
with it. I mean, your kids are a little younger than mine,
But you're right. Like
but we didn't have this
No,
social
it was
media
just
crap.
starting,
Like
yeah.
it was
Yeah.
just not even coming
Yeah.
to a head yet.
yeah.
Where
Yes.
you're in the thick of it.
But yes, that's
By Jonathan
definitely
Haidt.
by Jonathan Haidt. Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And knowledge is power. I mean, I feel like as parents, I mean, and like at the end of the day, parenting is hard. It is not
hard.
easy. And
Yeah.
you're going to make bad decisions and say
And
the
you
wrong
apologize,
thing and you
and you-
say sorry. Yeah.
I find myself doing that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a professional apologizer.
That's fantastic. I love that.
What is you say
think
something all the time?
more people-
It's better to ask for forgiveness than
Oh, I don't ask for permission. I ask for forgiveness and
yeah,
permission.
yeah. I like that.
It goes back to you got to make mistakes to learn
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, true.
Just don't go crazy.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I never had a curfew for my kids, but they knew that they didn't need to be out till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Or if you are, you're hanging out with your friends at somebody's house, and I know you're not being stupid.
Did y'all kids get spankings?
So with my oldest, I spanked her exactly one time,
Okay.
and then it was at the Highland Creek pool, and I went in the bathroom and I sobbed for about
I got my ass
25 minutes.
whooped. I'm not gonna
And
lie.
I was like, okay, well, we're not doing that. That is just not my vibe.
I know. Mine
so
was
we-
when we were in public.
Y'all got
I did
pinned?
that
Oh,
under
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
arm.
Oh, you got
like,
under the armpit.
yeah, I did the underarm. But
Yeah.
Ben was
Man.
such an angry child when he was little
Uh-huh.
that I really was afraid like he would get angry, then I would
Oh,
get angry,
yeah.
and it would just like both of
Escalate.
us
Yeah.
escalate.
Yeah, you'd be in like
So
physical brawl.
I literally went to. I told we went to
Yeah.
therapy, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I just need to know what to do as
Yeah.
a parent because I'm afraid that I'm going to do something
Yeah.
that I don't want to
Yeah,
do.
like,
'Cause
I
I
gotta
get
bring the
so
emotional heat
I
down
get
on
so
my kids.
angry.
Yeah.
And it totally was. And this is how simple it was. He goes to his alligator brain, which when he got really mad, it's this back part of your brain.
Yeah.
And he cannot reason.
No.
He is completely in a
Yeah.
different realm. So she goes, you just need to walk away
That man in a
and
multiverse.
just,
Yeah.
well, he's my most creative kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to learn, but
Yeah.
we went to therapy. He was
Yeah.
5. I'm like, I'm going
Yes.
to kill this thing.
But the reason I bawled for 25 minutes after I spanked Anna on her bottom at the pool was because I could feel myself filled with anger.
Anger,
Like
yeah.
I was like, ooh, it scared me.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought, I can't, it's not accomplishing
Yeah.
No.
what I set out to accomplish. So, and then my youngest, like, she was the exact, like, if I like barely raised my voice, mom's yelling.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Oh, no, I was not yelling. But
Abby, I
so-
just had to look at her.
Yeah.
yeah,
Be like,
yeah.
That's
So,
what I have to do with my kids.
Yeah.
I got spanked.
I got spanked.
I got spanked. Most of our generation. I remember this is just like
we didn't have a
total
belt
aside.
or anything. My dad would lecture me for 45
Y'all
minutes.
ever had switches?
No.
Yeah.
I had a friend.
I think that's a southern thing.
Yeah, I.
Oh man, I definitely got yeah.
They have to go pick out their own?
Oh, I had to pick out my own. Yeah.
I remember.
I think I'm a better kid because my mom. I know my mom may be watching this. She gonna say she ain't do that much, but I got my ass whooped. But I feel like there has to be a healthy medium of how to discipline.
Anna had a
kids.
second grade teacher, and I remember going to like open house night or whatever, back to school night, and she was one of those like older teachers,
Yeah.
like she'd been teaching for 45 years. And she was running through like what was going to happen that year, and this dad was in the back and raised his hand, and she was like, "What's your question?" He goes, "What's your discipline policy or plan? Like, how do you handle
Yeah.
discipline in your classroom?" And she goes, very matter of factly, she goes, "Oh, I I don't have any discipline problems in my classroom. And we all just kind of started laughing, and she did not break, like, she was dead serious.
Yeah.
And so the dad was like, "Oh, you're not joking?" And she said, "No, I'm not joking. I don't have discipline issues in my classroom." And she didn't. And
Because she had rules.
she just commanded respect.
Respect.
Yeah.
She gave respect.
Yeah.
She set the tone of
Yeah.
the classroom. You walked
Yeah.
in and you just knew.
Yeah.
This is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
The only time I discipline my kids is for willful disobedience, is what I would say. Like, if you know what, like, of course you don't do it for mistakes, like, oh, I accidentally spilled the waffles on the floor or something like that. But if I say, stop doing this, and you look at me and like, huh?
That's
Then,
going to be
yeah.
Marley her whole life.
Oh, yeah. Marley is my heretic. She's going to be like save the world type of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But that would probably be the only thing. But I'm curious to know that I was curious about that disobedience, because I feel like people are raised in so many different
Yeah.
aspects, and I don't think there's one right way, but I do believe that there should be some sort of disciplinary, in fact, because now I feel like kids are also so soft, and they don't have any what's the word I want to use? Like
Resilience.
resilience.
Yeah.
Yeah, is a
Yeah.
perfect way of putting it. And
Yeah.
I feel like there's so many things that get kids down so quickly.
Yeah.
And so I guess I would ask you, what do you feel is a good way to help build confidence and resilience?
Letting them fail. That's like, that literally is the number
Yeah.
one way to build
Yeah.
confidence and resilience in kids, is letting them fail, letting them fix the failure themselves.
Right.
And then
'Cause
having
yeah.
the self-esteem of like, oh my gosh, I did that.
Because I think it stems to, the parents keeping up with the Joneses
Yes.
or what persona that they want.
Yes.
So they go and fix the kid's issue.
Yeah, they email
So,
the teacher, they call
Yeah,
the
why
coach.
did my kid get it,
Yeah.
not get an A? Like, it wasn't my kid.
And
Yeah.
to
You
be
know?
clear, your kids know when you do that you actually don't believe in them. When I was just
Yeah.
saying earlier, like,
It's
express your belief in
counterproductive.
them,
Yeah.
that is the 100% the message you're sending. I don't believe you have the ability to handle this or take care of this or succeed on your own. And so I'm going to have to step in on your behalf because you just don't have, I don't believe in you. It's one of the most damaging things you can do to kids. So letting them fail, that's how you build resilience.
Yeah.
My dad used to say, prepare the kid for the path, not the path for the kid. Yeah.
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 100%.
Yeah. You definitely let me fail. But it's beautiful.
It's okay.
Yeah,
You're a better person for it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I got a trail of dead bodies. Like,
You and me
I failed
both.
so many
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the crap I did growing up, I'm like, whoa, the fact that I'm still alive and breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well, Sarah, I definitely appreciate you. You have any questions for Sarah?
No,
Any-
this has been such a fun.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed this.
Yeah.
It's fun.
This has
Yeah,
been
this
very
has been
fun
a-
and
I love to
informative.
talk about.
Well,
Yeah.
same. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm on the other side of parenting because now I just get to enjoy hanging out with them and being
Now you're the friend.
more friends with
Yeah.
them. I still get the calls of, Mom, can you send me the VSP thing today? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's.
No, you have very capable, independent young
Well,
adult kids.
Sarah and I were talking before we started the podcast. I think that the biggest gift that you can give your children is to grow them in an environment that they don't want to come home, that they are ready to be independent, be on their
Yeah.
own, and aren't afraid to go
Yeah.
do what they want to do with and I'm okay with. I mean, none of my children live near me.
Yeah.
None of them are in Charlotte, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Like, I love the fact that they're thriving in their own path that they forged. Like, they're figuring out,
Yeah. Yes. If they, yeah, we haven't done our job if they're
Yeah.
not able to fly the nest like that.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a great episode 6
Episode 6.
of Reps and Real Talks, where we don't just talk fitness, we talk life. And we had a lot of
Yeah.
life lessons today.
And we'll put Pediatric Housecalls links in there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And remember to comment, like, and share, and tell us what you guys want to hear next and any information you want about this podcast.
Awesome sauce.
Thanks so much, Sarah. It was really fun.
Thanks, Sarah. Give me some.
Thanks so much.
Good job, G.
Done.
Yes.
Hey guys, thanks for listening and tuning in to Reps and Real Talk with Jamal and I. We hope that you enjoyed the podcast that you just listened to. And what would really help us out is if you could subscribe to not only our YouTube channel, but also follow us on Spotify. This helps boost our numbers, get us showing more. And then also, if you could comment below what you like today about the podcast you listened to and what you'd like to hear next. We'd love to hear from you.
Comment, like, subscribe, baby.